Hey, this is Jeff at Trev Deeley Motorcycles, and today we're going to unveil the latest creation from the TDMC Customs lab, the 2024 Sportster S to mimic the 1977 AMF Harley-Davidson XLCR Sportster Cafe Racer. So for the TDMC Customs bike this time around, we've taken some styling cues from the 1970s that initially came from the 1950s and 60s. On the XLCR, Harley-Davidson was trying to emulate the 1950s and 1960s cafe racer culture craze by making the bike as stripped down, light, fast, and on a budget. And on the 2024 model of the Sportster S that we've created, this is an RH1250S. This bike, we've done kind of the same idea to pay homage to that 1977 bike. So when you think about it, this bike is a 2024 based on a 1977, based on a 1950. Some of the cool cafe racer culture scene things that they did were chopped exhausts. And on this bike, Jacopo Rossi, our lead technician, has cut up that pipe, and that was a Road Glide exhaust that has been cut, welded, and sectioned to fit onto the Sportster S pipe, and it looks fantastic. All of that was ceramic coated to tie in black and nice and tight. On the original XLCR, it also came with black pipes, which was completely different for that time period. So some other cool things that they did on the bike, the AMF styling on the tank. So this is a Nightster S tank that they've taken the badging from and put onto the Sportster S. And this is in throwback to the sort of AMF Harley-Davidson years in the 1970s. So you have that traditional sort of 1970s color scheme. You see the yellow, orange, and red of the 1970s Harley AMF kind of badging on there. So that throwback badging, just to give it that little period authenticity. In homage to the cafe racers of the time, we've gone with rear sets on this bike. So traditionally, the Sportster S has a forward control setup. And on this bike, we've taken a cue from that and moved the pegs and the shifting components and the braking components all the way to the middle of the bike. Just like on the AMF, when you see this on the XLCR, you can even see that the pegs were moved as rear sets all the way to the back, and they flipped upside down the shifter to allow it to be further back. So giving that race stance, get you going really fast. And let's talk about traditional styling. The cafe racer scene, one of the big pieces from that was to have a fairing. A little tiny fairing, a little bit of wind protection. When you're ripping through the streets of London, you want to make sure that you're protected from the wind just a little bit. And that's where you see the chopped fairing on the 1977 AMF, which was from the 50s. So we've gone ahead and we've done a modern version of that fairing on this bike. So you have what would be from a big twin cruiser put on to this Sportster S bike, and I think it looks really cool. Another really cool touch on this bike, we've had a seat made to mimic the style of the seat of the cafe racer, one of those other things. A flat, low seat, almost looks kind of like a skateboard on the back of the bike, and it's just enough seat. You don't need to be racing these things for a long time. You're here for a good time, not a long time. You're riding these things as fast as you possibly can, in the shortest distance possible, cafe to cafe. You need a quick, slick seat, nothing too big, nothing too fancy. Taking from the aerodynamics and the subframe coming up off of the XLCR, we've done that same thing with the saddle on the back of this bike. This was all custom built. Back here, this section was hand built by Jacopo Rossi. He's made this nice and tight, clean. You can see right through the bottom of the frame, very cafe racer style. And of course you have your adjustable suspension, moved to a very convenient location at the back so that you can set that sag for your weight and get ripping on this bike. That's some of the things that they didn't have back in the 70s or the 50s or 60s. We've got adjustable suspension on these bikes that makes this bike that much more fun to ride. To see this bike and other custom creations by the TDMC Customs crew, come down and see us at Trev Deeley Motorcycles. You can check out this bike and come to the Deeley Motorcycle exhibition and check out this bike right here, the XLCR, and many other really cool bikes. 1875 Boundary Road, come give us a visit.